Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today at our online event, Virtual Tea Time with TietoEVRY. Today we will talk about Dynamics 365 ERP projects, new implementations, upgrades, what is important in every part of the project, what are suggestions to your and your team, what tools we are using. Please, next slide. Today we are a small team from TietoEVRY Latvian office who will present content of this event. My name is Intars Palameks and I'm a sales manager at TietoEVRY. The colleagues Rita and Natalia, please introduce yourself.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Rita and I am leading Microsoft Dynamics unit here in Latvia. And for more than 10 years, directly or indirectly, I have been involved in different Microsoft Dynamics projects. And therefore, today I would like to share some tips and tricks that I think will be useful for you as well. And I hope that you have prepared tea because this is virtual tea time. So enjoy tea and our presentations.
Hello, my name is Natalia Ugrimova. I'm with TietoEVRY for 3 years, and at this time I took part in 2 projects with the manufacturer customers implementation and a support project for hydroelectric power producer, mainly taking responsibilities in HR and procurement areas of these projects. Welcome to our talk.
Yes, the plan is that we will have a couple or more events under this name, Tieto Tea Time with TietoEVRY. We are developing fresh, interesting, useful content for you. And this event and the event on 9th of December, we are doing together with company Microsoft, and it is related to Microsoft Dynamics family products. So agenda for today, couple words about us, TietoEVRY from my side. Rita will explain our dynamic team capabilities. After that, main part from my colleagues, where we will share our experience, talk about useful tools, and show some examples. At the end, Q&A session. With all this content, we will try to fit in approximately 1 hour. Some additional information, this event will be recorded, and after you will receive a link where you can access recordings. If you will have questions, I hope you will, ask them please in chat window. We will try to answer them during presentation or in Q&A session. So let's move forward. About the company, I'm sure you all know us. We TietoEVRY are among leaders between digital services and software companies in Scandinavia and Europe. Our roots are from Nordics, and we are really proud to bring these values and way of thinking also here in Baltics and globally. We have really a lot of professional colleagues, a lot of customers around the world. We are constantly investing in our resources, technology, and services. Here in Baltics, we present all offerings what we have globally. We can use specific resources from other delivery centers if this is needed. For example, Ukraine, India. Working in mixed teams is a common thing for us when we are combining local resources with global experts. We are really proud to be a part of this global company, and for you, we know we can be a professional, trustable partner who aims for long cooperation. The Dynamics team is very strong wing in our service portfolio, and especially here in Baltics. So, Marita, please tell us more about that.
Yes, I will try to be short because I can talk about our capabilities for a long time, but mainly I would like to introduce that we are Microsoft Gold level partner in several competencies, but also in ERP solutions. So more than 300 specialists specialized in different Microsoft Dynamics solutions, including all the FNO, also of course the previous versions of Dynamics called AX, having specialists in Business Central and Navision, covering also the CRM, customer engagement and sales, and also having specialists of Power Platform. And actually about the Power Platform, you will hear more next time. So join also the 9th of December event and we will even show you some real examples from there. What we do provide all the services and full life cycle services, starting from different analysis, different consulting, advisory, doing the technical health checks, and of course doing the implementation. And in most of our cases, we continue our journeys with our customers for many years, also after the go live. Close cooperation, following customer development, following customer wishes, and introducing them with the newest functionalities of Microsoft solutions. We have proved a delivery model, so globally, together with our colleagues from other countries, from different sites, we are implementing and maintaining these projects. So the topic of today about ERP implementation and upgrade projects. We know that usually customers have some challenges or some pain points why they decide to change their solution. Either it's old version or either the new businesses comes in and we need to do upgrade or implementation. So, and we would, but by this presentation, we would really like to encourage you to really use this opportunity and reinvent your business processes by using the really modern solutions. So, and really spend a lot of effort to prepare for this project. Where to start? That's always an important decision to start this project. And one thing we would really recommend when you are starting the project is to form the team for the project, because the team is mostly in all of the cases the key success factor for the project. And really nominate the right people on the right time and have their committed. Nominate stream leads, which has a really important role in upcoming phases of the project. So they are representing each of their own business areas. Select the ERP manager who's going to be running all of this journey, who oversees the complete process of all the project. And it's really important to have those persons from different levels of organization. So each of them is supplementing then each other, making sure that nothing is left out and having been covered. Also, one thing which sometimes customers forgot is that the big role in their projects are data migration team, because that is quite a big ongoing activity through all project phases. And usually we are underestimating the efforts needed there, and that needs to be separate team working with that day to day until they go live. Book a time for those people, because we know very well that all of these things comes on top of their daily duties. So, and it's important to really remember that these people need to be involved quite heavily in the project, and they need the time for that. So make sure that they do have a time, and don't forget about the motivation. When you have those persons in nominated, team formed, align the common vision for the project. And of course, don't forget to have cross-stream discussions so that you really make sure that all that organization and departments are covered. And here we have one good sample of one of our customers where we have pointed out what roles actually are needed in the project. And now my colleague Natalie will tell you about those roles.
Yes, so this is an implementation project for a manufacturing company. And on the very top, you can see a steering group representatives who consist of the top management group of executives and managers from both partner and customer side. They are interested in moving project forward, and there are decision makers who decide on global project strategy and to whom questions can be escalated if they arise. So this is the top management of the project. Then below you see the project management group, where again both customer and partner side are represented. So leading managers and specialist architects that see projects and the system as united solution hold the responsibility for all of the streams and for everything that is going on during the project, and who follows the creation of well-aligned and effective solution so that everything is in harmony in the new solution. And from this level down, we can see there are counterparts that are communicating with each other except for the 1, 2, 3, 4th level of a specialist who are working with all the streams, for instance, development team. So they're not dedicated to only one stream or business area. They're working with everybody. The same is with the quality assurance representatives and site representatives from customer side. And then, yes, if you look below, we can see there are counterparts representing different businesses or implementation areas, including data migration. Each stream has a lead, lead in a team. And you see here, there's a sales, warehouse, production. And what is important is you can see that customer side is represented by, again, customer street lead, and there is a team that supports him, consisting of key users and subject matter experts. It is important that from the customer side, there is people who see the whole picture of the process, and also the daily users who know all the tips and tricks and specifics of daily work. And then in this case, it is possible to form the best possible solution, taking into account all the needs of all the levels of workers. So we see the aim and we know how it is achieved today, and therefore we can suggest the best solution for a new system.
Yes, when the team is formed, the next home task for customer is to execute the review of their existing business processes. So as is nowadays, and really explore your organization and think what you want to do next. List and document all the existing business processes, flowcharts, step-by-step user guides, everything what you have in place. Define what is doing what, why it is done, and really ask those questions to each other, why you are working like that nowadays. Define who will be the main decision makers. Those will have quite important role in following phases of the upcoming project. And think about the main executors. Then afterwards, define the process step by step, what you are performing every day, or even actually define how frequently you are doing some of the processes. And think what is automated nowadays and what is manual process, and what you want to do with that in the future. Because really, I have seen examples when customers are quite surprised when they have done this work and they realize actually how differently people are working and how many exceptions there are. And yeah, this is interesting activity for the customer themselves as well, because not all of the customers are keeping those processes up to date all the time. And then when you have processes listed, team formed, it's time to do a lot of brainstorming and really to create a wish list or design the future expectations and think about the change, what you want to do, define where you want to change the processes, and define where you see that the system should be changed. Of course, coming back to the pain points. So, because as I mentioned in the beginning, usually there are some pain points or some challenges that customers want to solve by the project. So define those main targets. Think about the existing infrastructure. Think about the existing solution architecture. Think about the existing integrations, ISVs. Do you need them? Are those critical for your business, or are you flexible to change those in the future? All of those activities takes time, but are quite crucial. Think what processes are manually and which are automatized, and think which you want to change in the future, because sometimes actually to automatize processes takes also manual work to check them and test them, because maybe you do not run those processes that often, and the effort needed for manual check is not needed. So really think that and challenge each other to find out the main reasons for those things, what you are doing now and want to do in the future. Flexibility, yes, that is also important to think how flexible you are. Consider which processes should be the same as they are nowadays, and think which processes can be flexible and changed to support the standard ERP capabilities. Because flexibility actually results in the time and money, because it's really recommended to think that over and to stick to the standard solution as much as possible, so that you do not build your legacy system on the new technologies and work the same just with the newer platform, but also to use the possibility of the modern solutions that are available out of the box. And here we want to show you one example from our customer who had done their homework quite well, and how they are looking nowadays.
Yes, so this is another project with a manufacturing company, and we see the process evolution. We will see the process evolution that is supported by implementation of new ERP. So this company owns several manufacturing plants, which historically were working with different systems because they were separate, and these different systems supported their business. Something was integrated, some systems, the yellow ones were separate ones, and also lots of work was done in Excel. You know, Excel is a power tool, so but still it is manual. So of course our customers strived for process unification on all the smelters, because these processes were different, and process unification is really well desired, and the use of one united solution is more desirable for the business. So they've done their homework, and after the communication with us in the result of implementation, majority of systems that did not have an integration with ERP and Excels were replaced by functionality of D365. So here is the flexibility that really there is plenty of ways that goals can be achieved using systems. So maybe it is worth sometimes to change the process and to use this functionality that one system can offer. So external systems were integrated with a solution in full. Of course, no Excel work had left. And after the implementation was finished, Thanks. So united process flow looks like this. So it's continuous data flow that ensures data safety and accuracy, and easy to work in everyday life. And here is another example of our customer who decided that their process is not efficient enough for them, hard to maintain, and they had a vision of what have to be changed in their system. So before the project started, this is manufacturing customer, and each time they had a new contract, they created a new product to manufacture. So often products were similar, and setup of these products took time, was time consuming, but they could not be identified in all the product catalog, because it's just another ID and another name, and it's not possible to see from the catalog what properties product brings. So it is hard to find something specific. So at the end of the day, this catalog was growing with the items that were never used again, and it was hard to browse it and make use of it. So customer's aim was to systematize product catalog and to have product and item IDs that would reflect product properties, so that catalog would be more transparent, and it would be possible to reuse existing products for creating new ones. So For instance, all items with ID starting from 2 would be keyboards, and items with ID starting from 3 would be mouses. So items with ID starting from 2.1 are black keyboards, and starting from 2.2 are white keyboards, etc. So in this case, the first digit is describing what kind of product it is, and the second digit describes product properties. So so on. So suggested solution challenge was to transfer the legacy system data from product item characteristics using D365 standard possibilities, and to build the logic for ID generation that would reflect this multi-level categorization of products that share identical characteristics. So development was done to create custom hierarchy based on product properties. Here, our customer had done great work to systemize this great product catalog by these hierarchy leaves. And this hierarchy became the basis for ID generation. So at the time, in the result, additional steps were added to this process. And now customer, before creating a new product, can easily check if such a or similar product exists in the system. And if it is, he can copy it and to edit some specific characteristics. So, and if not, of course, he can work as usually to create new ones. But here is one thing more, that when the product now is created, inherits some parameters that are needed to define this product from the hierarchy. And in case the customer now copies the product, additional properties come from this copied product. So the process became easier.
What next? So the team is formed. As this process is listed, your future vision created. Time to prepare for the change, and we would really like to recommend you to use the basis of all your previous tasks done, and keep in mind your processes and your wishes for the future. Explore the possible solutions and create a list of potential solutions, because of course Microsoft is only one option, but there are a lot of also within Microsoft, there are several options that you can implement. Check all the available information really to find a fit and understand the system's suitability. Get touch and feel of the solution, and when you have some feelings about the solution which you want to select, really have meetings with the partners. So challenge them, ask the questions to find out if you have a common vision and you are on the same wave, and you are ready to continue your journey with selected partner. One good thing which we would be recommending is also, if you do not have a strong expertise within your company, you can consider to utilize advisory specialists from outside companies or from other partner companies, or even to hire them in-house for your upcoming project. And that specialist can help you to plan the project and even help you to execute that, because we know that it's not that easy to find the capacity within the companies. Then the next step would be to really think and decide on the implementation approach, decide on deployment strategy. Either you want to deploy your new solution as a big bang, or you want to do that by rollouts, and what kind of rollouts, and those kind of things also have to be considered, and as that makes impact to the upcoming phases. And then, of course, one big topic that usually customers are questioning us is the technical platform, and they ask to advise on how to build the technical platform for the new project. So, and there we would recommend you to think and spend enough time and energy, and to consider really those critical infrastructure aspects, study the requirements of the selected solution, recommendations. Each of producers have quite good recommendations and tips how to select the right approach. Consider system availability requirements, security aspects. Consider if you want to use the real data, online data, where you want to use your solutions. Either it's only in the offices or it's outside the offices, where the factories are located, and all those kind of factors really need to be considered. And also don't forget about the integrations if you plan to rebuild the integrations in the new system. So those things are important to be considered and paid enough attention to them. And what we would like to remind you that actually Microsoft is giving us quite a lot of good and efficient tools, which really helps in decisions and which helps to afterwards follow the information and check the statuses and etc. And one tool in regards to that decision of the infrastructure is this Azure pricing calculator, which would help you to configure and estimate costs for different Azure products. So always remember that there is somebody who can help you in those decisions. You shouldn't be alone in all of that information. Yes, when the decisions are made on the platform as well, you are ready to start your project. And always we start our projects by analysis phase, which is one of the most important phases. I still believe that that's really the most important phase, because there you are shaping a common vision with your selected partner. There you are setting the basis for the project. And that's why it's important that you have the partner which you are having common vision, common way of working, and here you start to work together to collaborate to achieve those results. So align the project priorities and expectations within your team again, with the partner team, and because from today you will be working as a one team and being in the one boat, and only by collaborating, you're going to be achieving successful results and smooth go live. Share with the partner as much information as you can. Teach them how you work, because that is really crucial, and tell them about all the exceptional cases and etc. Do together proper project planning. That plan should be joint effort, and all the aspects have to be planned carefully during the analysis phase. Agree upon the tools that you're going to be using, and of course emphasize the documentation. Agree what kind of documents going to be created, and don't forget to update them through all the project phases. In the analysis, do the prioritization of requirements. Think already which requirements are mandatory for the go live. Structurize which are good to have and can be done later, and consider really that good to have features can be done after the go live. And because we have seen that usually after the go live, customer gets used to the new solution, and the appetite is growing, and they want to use more and more new functionalities. And of course, Microsoft is updating and launching out new great features quite often. And that's why partner is there to really to say when and what functionalities can be added. And of course, we would like to emphasize that already in the analysis phase, it's very important to identify and mitigate risks, to think what risks could appear, and have the mitigation actions already listed and follow them during the next phases of the project. We recommend to consider proof of the concept at the end of the analyze phase, so that would really help you to feel secure that the solution fits and that's the right solution, and the functionalities that are now analyzed are the ones which supports your business processes. Because at the end of the analysis, it's strictly recommended to freeze the scope, so that it's not changing to achieve the deadlines and set targets. And of course, as I already mentioned in the previous slide, data migration is quite a big and important topic. And during the analysis, you have to define the data migration strategy and agree about what data gonna be migrated with the data migration team from the customer side. Yes, continuing about the tools.
Yes, the tools are the ones that are really created to make life easier. And one of the tools that Microsoft offers is Lifecycle Services for Microsoft Dynamics, which is a collaboration portal that provides an environment and a set of services and different tools that can help you manage application lifecycle from the implementation to maintenance. LCS aims to bring all the team working on a system to the same page, providing the right information to the right people in the right time to manage environments successfully and in a timely manner while preparing environment upgrades or regular updates of the systems. So there are libraries and different methodologies offered to follow in order to achieve predictable and positive results. For instance, what team have to do to successfully proceed with implementation, migration. So there is steps, what to do, tasks. This is something pretty fine that you can use and not to do mistakes in your work with environments. So together with the regular updates, LCS also includes, as I've mentioned, a set of tools that allow you to manage applications lifecycle. For instance, one first I would like to mention is Business Process Modeler, which is the tool that is used for creating, viewing, modifying implementations that are based on business process libraries and flow charts. So there are existing global libraries that contain process descriptions that were described by American Productivity and Quality Center. And they can suit companies' business processes, but these libraries can be also modified and adjusted to the needs of specific company, or they can be created from scratch. These processes can be used in implementation first, as this describes the business. Is this the core that we have to take in account while implementing the system? Later on, it is possible to use those processes in creation of automatic tests that greatly save a time and human effort and, of course, costs to run through the tests. And these automatic tests are really needed after systems are upgraded or updated to check the system is working correctly after something had changed there. And also, these materials can be used for training new hires in the company, because this is how the process looks like. On the right side, you can see the detailed step, what user has to do in the system to proceed with the process. These records actually are done from the F&O interface. It is an inbuilt feature called task recording, and this is the feature that follows user actions in the interface, and then it decodes it in a readable format for human beings and also for the system, that based on this record, it can show you such a flow chart and to make it more usable and visible, understandable for the users. Yes, so these are the processes that later on can be used also for those automatic testing. Another tool, it's not a part of LCS, but it's a tool, great tool, is Azure DevOps. It is helping to bring developers and project managers, all the people who are working together to complete software development, helps team to plan it and track their work, including the communication, including documentation, including the releases and building the environment. So it has all the information here, and of course testing. DevOps items are configured in a hierarchy, as you see, starting from the global level. For instance, module like say sales and marketing, or this is the area maybe. The lower hierarchy point is function or process, for instance, creating invoice or sales order. And then the user story, which is modification specific aim that have to be achieved. And so here the documentation can be attached on how the system will work and is working after the development is completed. And then there's the little tasks, development tasks, and the bugs mentioned here. So this creates a big tree of information that can be viewed, and it can save you for searching numerous emails and messages for what had been agreed, what was asked, what feedback has to be given, what works or not. So everything in one place. And also it is possible to use Kanban boards. So here you see some items that can be moved from one stage to another. So this column represents stages. It is pretty nice to use. I like that. Another thing that I would like to highlight is, of course, reporting of different kinds, and it's possible for user to define a report himself and to use personally or globally to share with the colleagues. And of course, there are dashboards that present you information visually, you know, what was done, what was successful, what is the stage of processing this item, the status. And these dashboards are also possible to create on your own.
Yes. And when you have had a successful and quite productive analysis phase, then I would say that it's quite easy to do the next phases and do the implementation of this designed and approved solution. But to ensure that the progress is going into the right direction and you are getting the solution that you have wished, we would be recommending to involve the solution users quite frequently, and that's of course not that easy because everybody have their own duties, but that would really help them to adapt to the new solution and to be confident of the new solution. It's important that you are defining and guiding the clear communication about acceptance criteria, because they need, of course, to know what has been developed and configured and how they are accepting that. Remember that during the implementation, also when you start to see the real solution, you have to remember about the scope, that you had a clear target what you want to have for the go live and which can wait. So yeah, make sure that you avoid the scope creeping, and that helps you to stick to the schedule. But as soon if any changes comes into, either it's changes of process owners, or it's changes of the functionalities, or anything what would come in, make sure that those changes are planned properly. This is the case where agile approach is recommended. Then you would see the functionalities in your solution by pieces, so not everything at the end, but yeah, having already chances to see and test and adapt to the solution early enough. Please remember that during implementation phase, also in parallel data migration process is ongoing, and it's important to validate the data quality, and that needs to be done by the customer. Here, Tieto has done sometimes mistake and have tried to do that on behalf of the customer, but at the end that hasn't resulted in good data and data quality. So this is really the task of the customer. They know the best their data. And we would really recommend to raise awareness of expected changes in the organization, to talk about that all the time to mitigate the resistance of the change. Later on, we will talk a bit more about this, but this is really important that people know about expected changes and what are the purpose of the expected changes. Okay. taking off. So now we are close to the go live, to the real usage of the system. And there are a few tips which we would like to recommend before going live. So once again, reminding about the testing and really testing by the end users to see how comfortable they feel with the new way of working, with the new tools, with the new processes, train them, and really it's important to collect feedback also from them because that would make and ensure that they are ready and how they feel about that. Please test with the real live scenarios, real data, tools, and even devices. If you plan to use some devices in the warehouse or some scanners or something like that, so that's important to test also with them in the real environment. And when testing, please pay attention to the roles and security rights, so that those rights are the same as those going to be in the production, so that those users see only their area. They can do only their actions, so that they do not have the administrator rights, all of them. And we recommend to have several UAT rounds, so that really helps and has proved to be efficient. There are at least about 3 testing rounds. Once again, test and verify the data, migrated data, so that's important, and that would help to avoid last-minute changes or some data fixes during the go live or first days after the go live. Remember that no more changes are allowed and recommended at this phase. So a solution, of course, there might be some fixes, but the solution cannot be changed. And once again, remember about the importance of the communication within the organization. And then one more tool.
Yes, one more tool, golden tool that I've mentioned before. It's regression suite automation tool, the tool that helps to create automatic testing. So imagine the process is tested in a matter of seconds. Meanwhile, the user would have to spend the time to do so. So here is the place where it is possible to feel the beauty of all the tools integrated one with each other. So the first, remember the business process modeler and the processes that were imported there after performed in user interface. So after that, after you have these processes in business process modeler, this library, your own library, is synchronized with Azure DevOps, where test plans are created. Then tests are executed in this RSAT after adding some setup, of course, and in the results are imported back to Azure DevOps for reporting and investigation. So it works really smoothly, and it helps to reduce the time for testing, especially for those processes that are really long, and it's really nice tool. And now then a bit about human aspect of the work. As people are the key in every organization, they are the ones who execute those processes and use the solution at the end. So therefore, it is very important to take care on their adaptation to the new way of working and new solution. And adaptation is time and energy consuming activity, and it always takes time. And unfortunately, it impacts employees who are the system users' performance, and it influences this performance differently during different phases of adaptation. So what you see on the screen is Kubler-Ross change curve that today is widely used in organization to address worker adaptation to the changes. And it looks like a pit the worker is going through to integrate significant changes in his life. The amount to which this line is curvy is depending on the personal significance of the changes and the circumstances of these changes. So the good thing about this knowledge is that organization can influence the adaptation process by making it easier, this line making less curvy, and so the minimizing impact to user performance. And one important thing that it is possible to change this curve allocation in time so that people could adapt to new solution before their significant involvement in system implementation and usage is really needed. So for instance, if process is not managed, it might happen that important phases of implementation project fall into these peak points of employees' adaptation to changes. And these are phases where people get very emotional and feeling lack of energy and willing to abandon previously practiced way of working. So they might resist working with a new system, avoid paying attention and spend time on testing, not getting really engaged in training, not interested, or trying to recreate legacy system functionality in a new environment, as Rita mentioned before. So doing part of the work outside the system in Excel, for instance, if they are not trained enough. And so in this way, data accuracy falls and possibility to lose it increases, and it doesn't serve actually its purpose. So what organization can do is to guide its employees in a way that they will go through these reactions as early as possible, so that the time when people engagement is much needed, they are already on the stages that are defined after realization, inevitability of changes, and are already moving upwards from this crisis bit, so from letting go to exploration, problem solving, etc. So instruments that organization has are timely informing about upcoming changes. It is really important to send a status of the project, explaining the impact of the project on the organization, as well as day-to-day activities of the employees, the purposes of the project, the status of timeline of the project, so that employees have information to digest and to build the future vision of their work with this solution, and not to feel this change as a dangerous one. So it's already be something known. So it's equally important to early help employees to get oriented in the system practically, properly planning training time. So showing tips and trips of the system. Gaining trust of key users who are the main advisors for their colleagues and teaching them well so that they can show how the system works and they would have a good impression of these new changes. So, and all of the topics that Rita mentioned before, practical steps are important to perform early in this implementation.
Yes, go live. And actually, I would say that go live is exempt to reflect the success of previous phases and everything what you have done before the go live. So it's really the result of the collaboration with the partner from both sides, reflects already shaped solution and already tested and well-known solution. But to ensure smooth go live, we would really recommend to have a good and proper cutover plan in place, approved, followed, and really communicated to everyone, and really control that everything goes as it was expected. And if something doesn't go, have a risk mitigations and think how to do that to avoid those risks. So once again, no more last minute changes are allowed at this phase. And remember that go live is not a user acceptance test. So that needs to be done before the go live. And here we have summarized a bit the main influencing factors. So we have gone through during the previous slides. And of course, the conclusion is that people planning, communication, clear goals and targets communicated to everyone, disciplined change management, and realistic targets and schedule is the key of the success of the project, either its implementation or upgrade yeah, a small sub project. So these things are really critical. All right.
So thanks, colleagues. Really great presentation. Thank you for sharing your experience, our experience, and thank you for questions. We have some of them. So first question regarding customization. Maybe Rita or you can open a formula for us how to minimize customizations in project.
I think here we come back to the flexibility because yes, you always have to think how flexible you are and is it really critical business process which you have been doing before? Are you flexible to change that? How much it's used by the people in the organization? So because yeah, every user will say that that's critical for me. I want this feature, but somebody from the decision-making board have to really evaluate if that is just good to have feature or that's really business critical, and of course really consider the investments of that and return of the investments. But formula, I don't think that there is one formula, but formula would be that you are really challenging your partner and asking them how, yeah, telling them how you are working and asking how the standard solution can help you to minimize the customizations and help the solution out of the box.
Thank you. Another question is touching integration process. In every project, we have this integration with other platforms, maybe HR, CRM, I don't know. Maybe comments about integration, where to pay attention.
I think actually integrations are similar, like the customizations. Of course, you are integrating with some solution that does something, but yeah, also our projects, every single project do have some integrations that are critical for the customers. But also there, Microsoft Dynamics 365 project has been really expanding significantly during the previous years, and all the time Microsoft is changing something, adding some features and improving them to cover more and more out of the box from the standard, so to really avoid the need for the integrations. But there are in the manufacturing, there are different solutions that even actually Microsoft solution do cover that out of the box, but there are, each manufacturing company also is working differently. So I have been always saying we have several manufacturing companies, and it would be great that we can apply the same solution for every of them, but we very well know that each of them is totally different and working differently. So I don't know, colleagues, do you have something to add?
I think every time when you work with integration, of course, it is important to help your partner to get to know this third solution, to have really planned communication between two of your partners, one who is providing the services with your ISV and one is who's working with the ERP. And of course, documentation, that will help really much, so the process becomes clearer. So again, it comes to good planning, good documentation, and not making fast moves, but really take a time to fix that and to test and test and test.
Okay, thank you. And from my side, yes, in complicated project, we have experience also with some third-party integration platforms that we are using, like VSO2 or some other examples. So we can use, of course, like big platforms for integration also. So another question, another situation. Company is describing situation when they are working like for 5 to 6 years with a partner with existing solution, and they have developed some add-ons, some specific solution, but now they are really thinking about moving with an upgrade. They want to create a new system and have chosen or want to choose a new partner, like another company. What are the risks for this company, and what is important to consider when you're choosing a new partner for existing solution to upgrade that?
I always in these situations ask, do you have a documentation in place? Which sometimes is a painful question, but if the customizations you have built are documented, then I think it's not that challenging. Somebody from different company come in and understand what you're doing. And of course, yeah, the main thing is the processes and your knowledge behind that, why you have built it, what is built, so that will definitely help the new partner to get familiar. And developers can always read the code of different versions, different partners. So that's not a problem. I don't think that's the problem. Of course, you need to take into account that for new partner, it will take some time to explore you, explore your solution, explore your business, but it's doable.
Thank you. So another situation, another question. I think that the company has like version 2012 and some modules, finance, inventory, employees, production, etc. And the question, as I understand, is do we move all modules to new versions, or this company heard that companies only moves with finance module, or it is like a sequence, finance, then inventory, then maybe production? How you suggest? Take in mind that this is 2012 version.
Which is not that old. We know older
10 years
ones.
already.
10 years
Almost.
already, but we have some older versions also. But I think that's actually up to you. How do you want to do that? How critical is and how ready you are to move with all solution or move by parts? Because definitely not only finances are moved to the new solution. We have approached that sometimes finances are the first one, and then the factories and manufacturing are run later. Even sometimes the processes by factories are differentiating, and that's why we start with one main factory and then add those other factories later. But of course, you need to keep in mind that then you will need to have two solutions at the same time, and that can cause some issues later on. But definitely, our experience is that the customers do not live for a long time something in the older version. So just the question is, do you do that parallelly or do you do that later, step by step?
Thank you. So I don't see any more questions. Maybe someone can write it down if you have some of that. And what can I say now? We would like to see you also in our next event, which is on the 9th of December, where we will touch topics about dynamic sales, power-ups, Power BI. And yes, I hope you will be there. And if there are any more questions, then let's say thank you to our attendees.
Yeah, but you also can send the questions after the event. So we will be happy to answer. Inter's contacts can be found in the web. So feel free, we will be happy to answer them. And like Inter said, we do not know, maybe we see the interest and we can have some more virtual tea times with you somewhere in the future. So thanks a lot for your time, and we hope that you find some interesting and useful tips from our short presentation.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.